Good morning internet, go fuck yourself and have a nice Christmas. The E3, or rather the not E3, ended a few months ago with the Summer Game Fest hosted by Kev Geely, and after these shows there are always two types of mindsets floating around on the internet. Oh my god, video games are hashtag dead and we will all die by a funny Russian man's hand, or oh my god, I'm so hyped about this game I know dog shit about, but will hype it up to high heavens. Let me know which one of these two brain damage symptoms you identify with down below. Let me just quickly turn off the comments. Now there are myriad reasons why you would declare the end of humankind as we know. You know, video games suck these days, the pandemic made everything worse and slowed down the process or even outright killed some concepts. Or some companies are busy harassing each other rather than being creative with their game design. Just do a quick little search on YouTube, there are countless videos about people expressing their discomfort with modern video games. And yeah, there are some things or a lot of things I'm not happy with either, but I can't really complain. That's simply because there have been games that delivered well this year, and my approach to consume this hobby is quite different. Rather than sitting here bitching about problems that are more or less outside of our control, I would much rather take the time and spark about the games I quite enjoyed this year. And last year. I swear to god, last year was more recent 4 months ago when I wrote this script, you have to believe me. And before I start, let me just quickly run you through my autism. It's simple, I don't play many games. I mainly remain with my favorite ones and try to get better at them, and if I ever buy a new one I always have the intentions of adding that to my collection of games I want to replay out of fun, or again, getting better at them. If said game doesn't have any sorts of replayability or is too boring gameplay wise, then it's off my fucking house. It pissed on my carpet and is no longer welcome here. I really can't be bothered wasting my time for stories or grinding extremely trivial shit that doesn't benefit me or rewards me with a great gameplay system. And naturally, under these conditions, open world is automatically a deal breaker, with some exceptions like Final Fantasy 15, but even there the whole open world thing is... You understand? I generally recommend this mindset if you are burned out of games. You shouldn't treat games like disposable goods. You also don't need to see every shit under the sun, so maybe just leave that rectangular plastic box in the store shelf if your backlog is already filled to the brim with garbage. It's just going to be a short spurging about the games, so don't worry, this will be quick. What are you hip kids calling it these days? Mansplaining? Yeah, let's do that. First game is Neo The World Ends With You. I am by the way the guy who made this combo video about it, and I was really looking forward to this game ever since it got announced. The demo was great, and so was the game itself. I'm not too fond of the story, but who gives a fuck, I never listen anyway. I like Square a lot for being more creative with their games and not always opting to a formula that is already available and ready to milk. You basically map pins on certain buttons and then press them to trigger the ability. You can do random bullshit go, or be more calculated and time, combine and realign the attacks in a certain order. It's a really fun gameplay concept and offers a lot of room to experiment around and find new shit with different types of pins it has. I'll boot it up later at some point, but for now I'm burned out of it. I think overall the options you have on the fly in battle are a bit too short and the pin abilities resemble each other too much. Doesn't help either that most bosses don't have stagger, which is something Stop fucking doing that! If your game is this combo heavy, you shouldn't give them permanent iron stances. Do you even playtest this shit? Outside of that, the characters are cool, the soundtrack slaps, it has a comfy atmosphere, I enjoy, good game. Second game is its fierce JRPG rival, Tales of Arise, which everybody should have heard of by now since all the Genshin Impact players invaded this game like a new patch update and started using obnoxious terms like DPS. And maybe because it broke sales records like crazy, but that's not important, nobody can do math. Story-wise, nothing big. If you know Tales, you know it's a fucking accomplishment for it to be passable. And who gives a fuck, I never listen. I will get a lot of shit for saying this, but thank god they removed the art tree. Nobody should tell me how my combos are supposed to look like. I almost gave up on this series since it seemed like it was a permanent thing till the end of time with the previous two games completely adapting to it. I gladly take a shortage of 12 art slots as a compromise. Just don't chew the steak for me, I don't like food that has been on other people's mouth before. But I have to say, it's not perfect. I would love to see LMBS and the side view return as well. We don't need to homogenize every game in the market to appeal to the mainstream, you never liked this series anyway. And of course, the non-staggerable bosses suck ass, but there are proper workarounds and the combat is still lots of fun. Even more so if you fuck around with mods like the Art Canceller. It has a reasonable pacing, didn't make me grind all too much, was pure gameplay fun. I finished it around 9 times by now, still trying to get better at it and find more interesting combos. Absolutely my game of the year 2021. I'm thinking about making a full review, we will see. If I'm not too lazy, you will see one this year, or maybe in 2. Play it, touch it, fiddle it, molest it, it's a good game. This is going to be a controversial one, but it's Super Bomberman R Online. What can I say? It's a really great classic Bomberman gameplay, just in the Battle Royale system, with some guest characters from the Konami universe and some special abilities that come with it. Unfortunately, they are going to discontinue the free-to-play version in December, but are going to migrate that to Bomberman R2, which is great news. I kick ass in this game and want to continue that. Just make the solo mode more fun this time. I also have a little bit of hope that Konami now gets its shit together and makes cool games again. Fun game, play it while it's available for free. And don't listen to Rife XT, he's a koala. Just a short mention, YuGiOh Rush Tool for the Switch. I actively play YuGiOh competitively, we'll get to that later. And I really like all sorts of alternative formats, Rush Tool being no exception. Glad to see it's playable this way in the West. Nobody wants to queue up with me on Edo Pro. Maybe it's because nobody here cares about it, but I also think it's because nobody likes me. Lost Judgment will round up 2021, unless I forgot a game. Yeah, I did forget something, but I'll make a separate video about it later, fuck that shit. I'm more of a fan of Judgment, Yakuza didn't do it for me, and if you don't know already, Judgment has a really great gameplay mechanic with the whole juggle system, which honestly I don't know if it's an expert or intentional, but it kinda feels foreign. Judging by how they buffed that concept here in the second game, we can at least tell that the developers are aware of that possibility and let it remain in the system instead of removing it. I'll be real with you, even here the open world is such a deal breaker for me, and most abilities are locked behind side quests I'm not really interested in going through. Moving through these gigantic worlds is such a slog and makes it really hard for me to press on the New Game Plus button. Regardless, in comparison, it was definitely one of the better games of the year, and once I feel like it, I will unlock every gameplay mechanic in that fucking thing and juggle combos from random bitches on the street, in the game and in real life. Some guy called Dante12 has a really great video about it. Check it out. I also can't believe Soma can parry while being airborne. What a motherfucker. The year is 2022 and we almost died 7 times. But that won't stop us from playing video games. YuGiOh Master Duel marks the beginning of the end. It was a fucking shadow drop. We knew it will be released soon, but not that soon. You might probably be able to tell how addicted I am given how many videos I made about it by now. My really shitty Necros build got quite the clicks on my second channel. YuGiOh to me is still a really fun game. It was too expensive for me in real life and there is no active local scene to participate in where I live. So having a really generous official free-to-play version is nothing shorter than a blessing. I didn't spend a single cent on this game and built around 21 decks by now, plus some staples. Most of them even being either meta decks or strong meta contender. You guys probably played this shit too. It was trending like mad. You tell me what you think about it. Or not, the comments are deactivated. There are tons of ban-worthy cards in this game that make some matches really unpleasant and I hope they will be addressed soon. Or who gives a fuck, as long as I can play Danglo and Max C, I won't complain. Last one is my game of the year, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I was skeptical about this one since, to be honest, I'm not a massive Souls fan and dropped Nioh 2 last year, but this game, it's fucking good. It's not Souls-like at all, it's really fast-paced, has lots of cool builds to fuck around with, a great gameplay system, it's top, it's everything I wanted. You can cancel so many shit into each other. Swapping jobs triggers a fighting game like dash cancel, what more can you ask for? It has some unstaggerable bosses and they suck ass, but it's not as problematic here as it is in Tales of Arise. Also, can you motherfuckers stop this shitty loot system? Anyway, I'm still on the game, love doing Sentient Stance combos and currently also trying out the tons of other builds the community came up with. And of course the DLC dropped, so turning into Bahamut and kicking ass is also on the list. I want to finish this video with games I'm looking forward to. First off, the thing I forgot about was the Lord of Necropolis mod that came out last year. Great shit if you are a massive Resident Evil 3 fan. And that mad lad is working on a Nemesis mod, so I'm looking forward to that one. Of course, Final Fantasy 16, I'm a massive sucker for action RPGs with enhanced combats. The Pac-Man World remake is a must-buy since I love PS1 games and it drops next Friday. I mentioned Bomberman R2 already, so let's throw that in here as well. I'm really good at it and want to get even better. The Crisis Core remake, man, I'm so glad this shit's happening. I love Crisis Core, but the gameplay really needs a revamp, and it actually looks like that's exactly what we are going to get. Someone said Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 is out already. If that's true, then I'll jump on it right away. See ya, I will finish this video later, fuck you. As you can see, there are still some good games here and there. I fully agree that right now the whole landscape sucks and most developers don't seem to know what a video game even is, but we still have some good ones. All the games I mentioned here are ones I still actively play and will boot up every now and then for fun, in addition to more old games which I treat the same way. Consuming too much is not really healthy and you should stop viewing games like disposable goods. Get into something competitive, get into technical single player games to learn its ins and outs. I don't fucking know, can you close this video already?